Welcome to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia and I am your host. It's another week and another post-trip report interview. As a little tease, I do have something a little different planned for next week, a little collab, as my friend Jeanette says it, with some podcast friends. I hope that you will tune in for that because I am really excited. So no trip report next week, but a very special episode that I can't wait for you to hear. On today's show, I am welcoming back Bailey. Bailey is a travel agent who can help you plan your next magical vacation. She specializes in Disney, Universal, cruises, and more. Her information is in the show notes, so be sure that you reach out to her if you're in the market for trip planning assistance. Her services are free for use, and she earns commission from resort or cruise lines directly. Bailey was heading down to Orlando on September 30th for a girls' trip with her friend Kim. She was spending one night at a new resort over at Universal and then heading to Coronado Springs for 2 nights, with one day planned at Typhoon Lagoon and an evening at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Finally, she and Kim were boarding Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas for a 3-night cruise with a ton of other agents from their travel agency. This trip was full of first times for Bailey. First time cruise, first time Coronado Springs visit, first time Mickey's Not So Scary attendance, first time at Typhoon Lagoon. That's a lot to take in on one trip. That should have you caught up, so let's get to it. Here's Bailey. Welcome back to the podcast, Bailey.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'm so excited.
You did a Royal Caribbean cruise, which I don't think I've interviewed anybody who's done a Royal Caribbean cruise as part of their going to Disney.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
I have a bunch of follow-up questions for you
Yeah.
because of this cruise. So this was your very first cruise ever, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Have you converted to be a cruise person?
Yes. And I wasn't sure at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we'll probably get to it, but when that boat started rocking, I was like, there's no way ever again.
Uh-huh.
I was so scared. I was always told you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely felt it that first night.
All right. Next question is, you had a basic interior room, which I don't know about Royal Caribbean, but I think in the Disney cruise line, when you're in an interior room, you have like a fake window where it's got like a scene showing or something. Was
Mhm.
that true of this space as well?
No, no, there was no fake window or anything like that. It was completely just walls and blocked in.
How did you like that? Did it bother you at all, or was it fine?
It was fine. I definitely would like to have a balcony room, like, with a veranda next time just
Mm-hmm.
because I like to look at the ocean, but it didn't bother me. It didn't make me, like, scared or seasick or anything, additionally from being in, like, a room with no windows.
Mm-hmm. Did you spend a lot of time in the room?
Not too much, no.
Okay. And you were sharing this room with a friend, Kim, who is a
Yes.
travel agent with your agency, but there were 100 of you going on this big trip,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So,
about more like 80, I think it was, came down
okay.
to it, but
I mean,
yeah, a
that's
lot.
still a
Yeah.
lot. That's still
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So, how much did you do as a one big group? Like, did you have any specific parties or events that were specifically just for your group? Did you ever get all in one place at one time?
I don't think so, no. I know that it was kinda hard and tricky, everyone wanted to kinda do their own thing. I know the dining room, a lot of us were together, I think most of us were together for dining,
Mhm.
but and then we tried to do a couple activities where it was, like, at least some of us together, and then when we first met up to get, like, our goodie bags and just to meet everyone, that there was quite a bit of people in there in the conference room in the beginning of the cruise.
Mm. Wait, they have a conference room on a cruise ship?
Yeah, I didn't know
Okay.
that, that's interesting.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to pitch that to my boss for
Yes.
a retreat idea.
Yes.
Okay, more follow-up questions. You said that the food was included and you had opted for the non-alcoholic drink package. How
Mhm.
was the food, and did you feel like the drink package was worth it?
10 out of 10, the food was amazing. Um, Best desserts I've ever had besides Disney at Cinderella's royal table, that has my heart, but the desserts were really great. I had cheesecake, I had a brownie with a popcorn on top, like, it was with caramel, and I was like, they just like there was, a apple strudel type deal. Like, it was amazing. Like, they were like, "Do you want another one? Do you want a second dessert?" And then, so if your birthday is in September or October right now, you got like an extra treat and they sang to you. So I thought that was
Hmm.
cute. They put it on your card, so I wasn't just like, "Hey, it's, my birthday," but they put it on your card and then they see everyone's card.
Okay, that's good for people who are shy and don't wanna,
Yeah.
run shouting to everyone, "Hey, it's my birthday."
Yes. Yeah.
I guess we'll get into the details of what you did sort of day to day in the cruise once we get to that part. But those were just
Yeah.
my initial things, just because first time cruiser. I've only been cruising once, and it's
Mhm.
been 20 years, maybe?
Oh my goodness. You
Yeah,
need another one.
it's been a long time. All right, let's dive into all the details of this trip. So you were flying from St. Louis down to Orlando on September the 30th, arriving around 6:40, and you were going to be staying at Stellanova over at Universal for this first night. How was your flight?
Flight was great. I was able to get a window seat, which I really appreciate. And then it was smooth sailing, flying all the way down. And but I was wrong. It was Terra Luna, not Stella Nova. So we went to
Oh,
Terra Luna. But
okay. Are
yeah.
those are both part of the same resort,
Yeah,
right? Like
they're
one
like
half?
sisters. Yeah, they're like right next to each other.
Okay, tell us about Terra well, now I'm Terra Luna. That's what I was
Yeah,
about to say
I know.
Stellanova again. Tell us
Yes.
about that resort. How was your room? What did you think about the lobby, the different amenities?
It was just stunning. The way they like present themselves is very like upper class, just very beautiful. Just when you walk in, it's not your typical resort. It was just like very white and pretty and elegant. But the room was really nice as well. Very big beds. Actually, I'd even say maybe even a little bit bigger than Disney.
Mhm.
And then the view was great. We had a pool view. It was a very big room. It was very nice.
Mhm. For Universal, for anybody who doesn't know, this is one of the newer hotels that's over with Epic Universe or affiliated with Epic Universe, sort of.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is what they would consider to be like a moderate level hotel?
I would say so. Yeah, it's definitely not on the like the cheaper end, but it's not like the Grand Helios or
Hmm.
like yeah, like the Lowe's resorts.
Okay. So dinner this first night, you were eating at Antojitos, I think is
Yes.
how you say it, at City
Yes.
Walk. I assume it's Greek.
It is Mexican.
Oh,
Yeah.
the way it's probably the way I spelled it because I wrote it down
Hmm.
phonetically, and, it looks Greek to me. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's Greek to me, I guess,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah.
How is that?
It was awesome. The atmosphere was really awesome. They had a guitar player and he just played the whole time and we actually got to sit right
Mhm.
next to him and it was just phenomenal. The atmosphere was great, the food was great, service is great. Definitely will go back.
What did you order? Anything that you would recommend to somebody?
I just got a quesadilla, but their guacamole, I wanted table side guac, but I didn't want to get too much. But their guacamole that comes with the meals
Mhm.
is like table side guac. Like it's actually really fresh. Very good.
Oh, nice. Okay. Alright, did you do anything after your dinner? Because there are other things in City Walk to see.
Yeah. So definitely wanted to, but we were just ready to go back to the hotel, get a good night's sleep. I had a couple of things I needed to finish for work anyway. And so we just wanted to go back to the hotel and get a good night's sleep.
Alright, and you needed it because the very next day, you were transferring over to Coronado Springs, and
Yes.
we're planning on taking advantage of that free water park day.
Yes.
So, first of all, Coronado Springs, it was your first visit there. You've had a ton of
Mhm.
firsts this trip.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Coronado?
I love it. It's bigger than I thought it was. You know, when you first see it, you really just think of the tower, but
Mhm,
it's not the tower that you typically think of. There's a whole bunch of other buildings. It's kind of like Caribbean Beach Resort, how they have a bunch of little buildings. So we were a little bit farther back, and whenever
mhm.
we checked in, they had asked if we wanted bell service. We're like, "Oh, no, thank you. We're good to just bring our stuff." And they're like, "No, no, no, we insist. We really, really want to do this for you." Like, "No, it's okay. And like, please, we would love to help." And we had the most amazing bell service man help us. His name is Roberto. He knew everything about the resort, and he was pointing. It was so hard to hear him, but he just knew everything. It was hard to hear
Mhm.
because he was driving the
Yeah.
golf cart, but he was so sweet and he was so strong, carried all like 8 of our bags at once, like, very awesome guy, very nice.
You had 8 bags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between me and him, yeah.
But Bailey, even just between the 2 of you, 8 bags. That's 4
Yes.
bags per person.
I had 3. Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay,
Yeah.
so you packed a lot,
Yes.
or maybe some of your bags are smaller and we're counting that as a bag, but really it's a smaller thing?
Yeah, I have a giant suitcase, then a medium suitcase, and then my backpack.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So I need to know, was there anything that you brought that was taking up a lot of space where you're like, I would never go on a trip without that. I have to take it.
Just all the clothes, all
Mm.
of those clothes, and then I do have asthma, so I have to bring my machine with me in case something were to happen, which unfortunately
Okay.
takes up a little space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. That makes sense now. All
yeah,
right. All right. Well, thank you to Roberto for handling their bags and getting them all the way to your rooms, which can be quite a trek. So I can understand why they were really
yeah,
pushing to let you have the help.
yes.
How did you feel about your room, especially in comparison to other Disney resorts that you've stayed at, and even in comparison to your room the night before at Terra Luna?
I think that the room is pretty much similar to even just the feel and even the space as a Disney resort, value resort,
Hmm.
that like pop or art of animation. I don't think it's too much of a difference. It feels more deluxe, almost feels just like a little sense of crispiness. Just something extra about staying there. It
I
just,
love
I
that
love,
as a descriptor for feeling more deluxe. Is it's
yes.
crispier. I love that.
Yes, yes, like your crispy drink from McDonald's. Yes.
Mhm.
Just it was just really nice, and then to, like, overlook everything, it feels deluxe even though it's moderate.
Mhm. How did you get around the resort? Did you take the internal bus loop or did you just walk?
We did the bus, so
Mhm.
we didn't realize how many bus stops there were. There's multiple bus stops at this resort, which is really awesome because then we'd have to walk all the way to the very front of the resort, but we didn't. We just had to walk just a small amount. I think there's 3 stations, which is really neat because that way everyone gets picked up and they don't have to walk a far distance.
Mhm.
Roboito did tell us that Coronado Springs is as big as Magic Kingdom, which that's incredible.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Wow. How was your time at Typhoon Lagoon?
It was awesome. We did the lazy river, or should I say the not so lazy river, whenever you're going under the huge waterfall and you get completely soaked. And
Mhm.
then we did the wave pool, and then we didn't realize that for about an hour it stopped, and we're all waiting. Like a bunch of people are waiting for the next wave. 10 minutes goes by, 50, 20, 30. We're like, when is this going to happen? Finally, an hour hit, and we're like, oh, okay, maybe it goes on every hour, like an hour and a half, and we're like, we are still waiting for it to come back. Finally it did, towards the end, but we were like, we were waiting for that. We got knocked down and it was kind of fun.
What was the holdup?
We're not sure. I don't know, and because we've never been before, I don't know if they do it every 30 minutes, if they take a break. We weren't really sure, but it wasn't raining at the time. There wasn't anyone hurt.
I think it's more frequent than every 30 minutes even.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna take a pause, listeners, and try to Google it. So wave pool, Typhoon Lagoon, how often wave? How often wave? Yeah, that is very weird. So it says a 90-minute cycle and then 30 minutes of bobbing waves. I think what that's saying, because I'm reading this a little bit further, it seems like every 90 minutes there's the really big wave.
Mhm.
And so then there's smaller waves
Yeah.
in between there. That does feel like a long time you had to wait, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Had you ever been to Blizzard Beach before?
Yes.
Okay.
We went this summer with my family, my daughters and my husband. And if I had to compare the 2, I definitely would pick Blizzard Beach. I just feel like it's more
Mm,
kid-friendly. Not that, Typhoon Lagoon isn't kid-friendly, I just feel like there's a lot more slides and other things to do, and it's, like, the frozen section, super cute.
mhm.
So, definitely would pick that one over Typhoon Lagoon, but I don't hate Typhoon Lagoon.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the complete opposite
Yeah.
because we went to Blizzard Beach for the first time over Labor Day weekend, and it was fine, but I don't really feel like I need to go back there again, and if I had to pick between the 2, I would pick Typhoon Lagoon because it has bigger things.
Mhm.
And, I don't have a little child anymore, and I
Mm.
said to Alex, in fact, we've already discussed this, listeners will have already heard this on our trip report, episodes, but I feel like it is much more geared to the younger set at Blizzard Beach, so I can understand how somebody with younger kids would really prefer Blizzard Beach
Yeah.
for that
Mhm.
reason. Alright, so what did you do after your time at the water park was over?
After the water park, we came back to the room and we just chilled for a little bit, and then we went to the pool at Coronado Springs, and we did the water slide. We just kind of relaxed in the hot tub, and it's actually the biggest hot tub on property. So I thought that was interesting too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It says it holds up to 22 people, and, looking at other hot tubs in the Disney property, it doesn't look like they hold that many. I would say maybe 8 or 10 or so, but
Mhm.
that one, it was a really big hot tub.
What did you think about that water slide?
That was awesome. It was really cool. It's definitely, I think, worth it to stay a moderate or deluxe for a water slide, especially if you're an adventurous swimmer and you're fine with, not just swimming and doing, like, more activities in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't go down the water slide often, but I do like to try to go down at least once on a trip if I have one in the resort I'm staying in. Just,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Yeah,
Especially,
of course.
maybe after you've had a margarita or something. Shout out to Nancy who will know what I'm talking about. So, love you, Nancy. All right. So the next day, you had plans, big plans, to head
Yes.
over and get some beignets before you hit up the not so scary Halloween party. Did you make it
Yes.
over for the beignets?
Yes, and that actually has a very sad story. So we get to the beignets, we get the beignets, and we are sitting down and we're enjoying them. And the manager comes up and asks if we need anything. We're like, "Oh, we're great. Thank you so much." And she goes, "You need caramel too. We just got the chocolate." And she goes, "You need the caramel. I'm going to bring it over." So she was so kind and she brought us the caramel. She brought us extra napkins. Super sweet lady. And then we decided we wanted to go look at the pool there. We weren't swimming, you can't do that, but we just wanted to go look at it just to get,
Mm-hmm.
some videos. And so it was raining and we decided to brave the rain and we went out there, and I'm getting the best content because no one's hardly in the pool, and I'm getting this great video. I'm just paying attention to my phone, and then I open the gate to leave, and I look down, and there's a giant hole in my bag with no beignets and no sauce. The rain had poured through my bag, and it dropped all over like the pool deck. Of
Oh
course, I went back to
no.
pick it all up, and I was like, "Oh my beignets!" I was so sad, but I was like, you know what? I got that content and I got those pictures, so it was
Oh.
worth it. I had 1 beignet, but I was fine.
Were they the normal ones or did you get the ghoulish ones?
I did the normal ones, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never tried the ghoulish ones, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, definitely next time.
Yeah, but the regular old beignets are so good.
Yes.
So good. And I will say, I had some beignets when I was in Disneyland, and I have to say, I think the ones at French Quarter are better.
Yeah.
And that might be a hot take for anybody who's listening who's a Disneyland person, but my feelings are my feelings, and I stand behind them.
Yes.
Did you do anything else this day before it was party time?
No, so we decided to go back because by the time we did that, because we slept in a little bit, it was time to start getting ready for the party.
Mhm.
So we went straight, from Port Orleans back to Disney Springs so that we could transfer and then back to our resort.
Okay. You were doing a little bit of bounding. How did your
Yes.
bounds turn out?
Great. I actually thought it was better than I thought, and I was super excited. People could totally tell, except for one random guy in the bus, and he was like, "Who are you supposed to be?" With all of the hearts and the red and the cards and the red roses, and I was like, "Sir, how do you not know? You have children with you. How do you not know?" But yeah, I could definitely tell that people could tell, especially the Red Queen. I got to meet her. And so whenever she saw me at the party, she was like, "Ooh, spin, spin." And she was like motioning for me to spin. And, I did my twirl and then I had her do her twirl. It was really cute.
That's awesome. I just have to think that guy is not a Disney guy and was
Yeah.
probably drugged there by
Yes.
someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Well, tell us all about the party. First of all, what time did you end up getting there? Because I think you could get in as early as 4.
Yes, we were there right at 4 o'clock. We had straight to get the cheeseburger spring rolls, and then we did Pirates right away because it was a pretty short wait time. And the wait times were great the whole night. It was awesome. After that, we did Tiana's. We got a little wet, and then not too bad, but I didn't want to get super wet before the party, before all the pictures, of course.
Mhm.
And then after that, we just did some other smaller rides. We did Peter Pan, we did It's a Small World, and we were just kind of walking around. We were looking for where to get our treat bags, and
Mhm.
then we went to the front, and that's where we got it. And we were like, let's just go ahead and get Jack and Sally out of the way. We know it's a 3-hour wait, and we were like, oh my gosh, it says 45 minutes. We were like, we will take that. That's not bad at all. We get in line and we see that it's pretty big, but we didn't realize that the other side was for Minnie and Mickey. We got to meet Jack and Sally in 15 to 20 minutes. It was the shortest wait time in like history,
Wow.
which like never happens. It was incredible.
Wow, that's amazing because they are, from what I understand, the most sought after characters at the Halloween
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, anytime I've ever seen anyone post about wait times and even picture proof, and it's like 300 minutes, 280 minutes, and we saw that 45, and it actually was 15 or 20, and we were just blown away.
How was the character interaction?
Awesome. They definitely showed their characters. When we got a picture with Sally, she didn't stand up straight. She kind of like fell and she was just like herself as if she, was losing her limbs. Like in the movie. It was
Mhm.
awesome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When do you watch The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, both Halloween and Christmas.
Okay.
Yes.
It's always a debate. I think it's more of a Christmas movie,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be opposed to watching it at Halloween time, but I'm more likely to watch it in November, early December.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there are plenty of people who are like, "No, I watch it at Halloween," and there are plenty of people like you who are like, will watch it both times."
Yes, yeah, I watch it both. My older brother and I, we had a love for it as kids, and he actually got me a backpack, one of the Loungeflies for, Nightmare Before Christmas, and I got to wear that to the parks for the first time. I was so excited,
Mm.
and I actually have a cell, like a real movie cell from The Nightmare Before Christmas, so it's got a special place in my heart.
Oh, wow. Where did you get that?
My brother got it for me. He got it on one of the authenticated, websites.
Uh-huh, where you can get it and it's, like,
Yeah,
proven that it's really from it, and yeah.
yeah.
What else did you do at the party?
We did Tron. That
Mhm.
was a 20-minute wait as well, which that doesn't happen. It's not, as long as Jack and Sally, of course, but that's a 70-minute wait or even longer.
Mhm.
So we rode that first thing, and then it's red right now instead of blue because of the new movie coming out. So that was really neat to see the whole stuff lit up as Tron as red. And we did Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which was only 15 minutes. Believe it or not, the longest thing we waited for was the meet and greet for Winnie the Pooh and Friends.
Okay, why?
I know. So we get in line and it didn't seem long at all. And as soon as we get in line, they're going to Rabbits because they have to go help Rabbit take care of the garden.
Mhm.
And so we're waiting and it took a little bit. And then they came back. They were done helping Rabbit. And after that, we were about second in line to go see them, and everyone needs singles, of course. It took that took extra long for everyone. And right when we were getting up, we were about 2 people in front of us, and they were like, "Okay, they're getting ready to take another break." And we were like, "No, oh my gosh." And they said, "Okay, they can stay for you guys." I was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." But it ended up being like 45 or even 50 minutes. We were already so in. We were like, "Why not?" After we already waited 30 plus minutes. So, but we stuck around. But if we would have known it would have been about 50 minutes in the beginning, we probably wouldn't have stayed.
Yeah. There comes that threshold where you're like, I've already been here this long. I
Yeah.
guess I'm in it. Or you're sitting there going, do I just call it now?
Mhm.
Knowing that it might move right along as soon as I get out of line, and then I'm just gonna have to live with that.
Yeah.
So, did they when they were trying to go away a second time? What was their activity they were going off to that time? Did they give a different reason, or did Rabbit need more help with his garden?
They were gonna help Tigger this time. Tigger wasn't out
Okay.
with them, so
Okay. All right.
yeah. I know. Also with Stitch, being Elvis for Halloween, we wanted to wait in that, and when we first got there, that one of the cast members said it was gonna be a 60-minute wait, and so we decided to go do Tron. That's when we decided to go do Tron. When we came back after Tron, everyone ran to the parade, and we got in to see Stitch in 10 minutes, maybe 15 tops, and we were just like, "We are really lucking out with all of these characters." And
Mhm.
he took so much time with me. My daughters love Stitch, so I quickly FaceTimed them, and I wasn't trying to be that person, that took 45 minutes with a character, but I was just like, just super quick. My kids would love to say hi, and he was just eating it all up. He just loved being on the camera. He loved it. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Did you end up seeing the parade at all then?
I did not. So we
Okay.
we decided no, just because we kind of prioritize other things. Even though I've been to the parks 100 times, I love riding the rides when there's no waits, and
Mhm.
I want to go see the parade with my kids for the first time.
Okay. That makes sense. And you did tell me in our pre-trip conversation that you were prioritizing all these character meets
Yeah.
specifically.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Did you do any trick or treating?
A little bit, yeah. So we did maybe 5 or 6 of the trick or treating, and we got a lot of candy. They even gave us a second bag. We didn't ask for it, and they were like, "You take more. You can have more." They were so sweet.
All right. Did you do anything else before the party wrapped up?
So my friend didn't wanna ride Tron again. We did do Haunted Mansion with the overlay, which was really cool, but my
Mhm.
friend didn't wanna ride Tron again. She wanted to do more trick or treating, so I did Tron by myself, and I it was even shorter than the first time. It was maybe even 10 minutes, and it was just awesome.
Wow. What time of night was it approximately at this point in your journey?
That was about 11:40.
Okay. And the party goes till midnight?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you cram anything into the last 20 minutes?
No, nope, didn't. By the time I was off of Tron, I found her, and we
Mhm.
sat down, and we just, needed, a 5-minute break, and then we got on the bus.
Okay. How was the bus ride back? Because you were presumably very tired at that point, and
Oh, yeah.
sometimes the bus ride can feel like it takes forever, and sometimes you have to wait a long time. What
Mhm.
was that situation at the end of the party? Were there buses aplenty?
Yes, there were definitely a lot of buses, but there was just a lot of people, and it just always feels like there's so many people at your resort. So we had to
Mhm.
stand and wait. We were standing on the bus when we were riding back to Coronado Springs, but we were
Mhm.
just like, you can see if you're close enough to the monitor, you can see how many more miles until your resort. And I just kept looking at it like each mile is another, 2 seconds closer.
All right. I am sure you were asleep the minute your head hit the pillow.
Yes.
The next day was Friday, October 3rd, and you were going to be Ubering over to Port Canaveral to head out on your cruise journey. So, what did you do in the morning before you had to take the Uber?
We just started packing. We just slept in as much as we could, and
Hmm.
then we started just quickly packing and getting ready for the Uber because it was going to be a long drive, and we had to be on the boat by 12:30.
Did you have a chance to grab anything to eat, or it was cutting it close?
Cutting it close, yeah. We're not too much of breakfast people, so we were just like, "We'll be fine. We'll just wait till we get the free food on the boat."
Hmm. All right. Well, Tell me a little bit about this first day on the cruise. What were some highlights for you?
So we get on and we are exploring the ship, and it's just incredible. The thing is so huge and it's just immaculate. It's just beautiful. And just to be on a cruise for the first time, I think there's just that feeling you get, when you're just like, wow, I'm finally here. And so we did the sailing away party and it was so much fun. We had lunch and then we get back to the room about 30 minutes after we started taking off. And I was like, wow, you can't even feel the boat. This is awesome. As soon as we walked into the room, I was like, ooh, hold on. And I just feel going back and forth, like pretty majorly. So I
Mhm.
had the Wi Fi package and I called my husband and I was like, he's been on a cruise before. And I was like, you didn't tell me it moves this bad. And he was like, no, I told you you can feel the boat. And I was like, no, no, this, I feel the boat. Like I am like
Mhm.
one with the boat. And he was not understanding what I meant. And so I was just kind of like, this is not happening. Like, this is not fun. And so we go to dinner, and there's another girl at the table, and she's not having the best time either because she's just like, I feel it. I'm not okay. Water's not helping. My motion sickness medicine isn't working. And so I'm like, okay, at least there's one other person, on this giant boat. At least one person out of 7,000 is feeling the same as me. So I didn't feel so great to do the shows that night. So I just went back and I just stayed in the cabin by myself and I went to bed. Well, what's interesting is when I checked all of like the cruise Facebook groups that I'm in, and not just the ones for like my travel group, but like just random ones for the cruise date and everything. And everyone was saying, is the boat okay? Or is this a normal cruise? This is my first cruise. Are you supposed to feel it this much? And I would say about 70% of people were not complaining because, it's not the captain's fault or anything. The hurricane had just came through not too long ago and the waters were pretty choppy. But they even canceled the water show Friday night because it was just too dangerous. And they closed the pools down. And everyone was like, This is, I don't feel good. I've never felt
Mm.
motion sickness before. This is my 10th cruise. And so I felt a little bit better knowing that it wasn't just me. And I was so excited to get off the boat that day to go to Nassau. I was very excited we were on land.
Wow. So, did you feel a little bit better when you woke up the next morning?
Yeah, definitely felt better.
Okay. How was Nassau?
It was different. So I've been out of the country before and it was quite of a long walk to the beach where we could swim, a little bit longer than we thought. Probably would stay on the boat next time, but seeing Atlantis from across where our boat was never thought I'd ever see that in real life. So that was just really cool to see. But they definitely try to get you to buy their things there a lot more than any other places I've been and other countries and asking for rides, asking for buying this, buying that, and you just nope or ignore or you say no thank you, but then they just kind of keep going at you. But it's definitely beautiful there.
Did it feel safe?
Yes and no. It felt safe if we were staying on the path and just staying, like I wouldn't feel safe, going too far out of the path.
Mhm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I very recently watched a documentary about a woman who went missing while on a cruise ship.
Amy
And
Bradley.
yes, did you watch that?
Yes. Yes.
That was
Yes.
fascinating.
It
S
was.
Very scary and
Yes,
fascinating.
sad and yeah, how they
Okay, we're gonna go on a tiny tangent. Don't worry, listeners. We will be right back. What do you think happened to her?
um, I think somehow she got off the boat with someone and alive, and I feel like she's still alive because the website that her parents say that they have,
Mhm.
and she only checks it, like, what is it, Christmas and her birthday, and
Mhm.
it, like, stays on that site for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Something yeah, and people say they've seen her, but she pretends she doesn't know people, but I feel like she's still alive somewhere, and I feel like she was forced off the boat,
Yeah.
but it's definitely sad and scary. What do you think?
I think that that guy that was with the band was
Yes.
involved, and I think that she was either forced off or she agreed to go off and just kind of escaped notice when everybody else was leaving the ship.
Mhm.
And then once off, was forced into a situation. Like I I'm pretty sure she was involved in human trafficking,
Yeah.
and then enough time went by and her life and what it became after that. Perhaps it's too hard for her to think about returning back to her family. It's
Yeah.
very, very sad. So
Yes.
it I
Yeah.
would recommend to anybody who's into true crime
Yeah.
documentaries, definitely watch it. It was really interesting. It did not make me scared to go on a cruise or anything.
Mhm.
It just, is one of those things where I'm like, when I go on another cruise, because I will at some point,
Yeah.
I mean, this is
That's
true everywhere. You need to be aware of where you are and
extra
who you're
careful.
trusting.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, I agree. Yeah, very
yeah.
sad, very interesting, but yeah, it didn't scare me, but it just makes you more aware of I probably shouldn't get in a random car with someone to take me, 500 feet to the beach.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I would definitely recommend people watch it. Just know going into it, you don't get full resolution. Like you kind of can see based on the evidence that they're presenting, ways that you can kind of decide what you think happened, but you're not going to get a concrete answer. So don't go
Yeah.
into it looking for a concrete answer. All right. So, what did you do after your time at NASA?
After that, we kind of got into like the seaweed a little bit, so we definitely needed to rinse off back in our room. So we did that and we got ready for dinner. Then we were on our way, we were leaving, and it felt so much better. I was like, "Are we leaving? Because I definitely can't feel it." And from then into the rest of the night, I couldn't feel it anymore, and I was very thankful because I have, like, mentally planned, like, 4 other cruises in my head, and I'm like, "I can't go on any more cruises if this is the way it is," but the captain had also made an announcement that it should be smooth sailing from then, and I was like, "Thank goodness," because
Hmm.
that night was hard. But, after that, we did dinner, and after dinner, we did a show, and the show was Aqua 82, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen ever. Like, it was incredible how they do everything. They were kind of like dancing on maybe about 2 inches of water on, like, a little pad or, like, platform, and then I blinked and the stage was gone and they were all underwater and it was a moving stage and they're jumping from high depths and all over and it was just incredible. Wow. I'm scared to walk on water and they're like running all over it and not slipping and their makeup was perfect still. It was an awesome show.
Wow. That sounds like the water version of Cirque du Soleil or something.
Yeah, definitely. It was incredible.
Was that the end of your night?
Yes.
Okay. Sunday, October the 5th. This was the Coco Key Day, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How was that?
That was awesome. I think definitely it was a little bit nicer than Nassau, just because it's, their private island. They probably take, a little bit more care of it. And we weren't, asked for rides or anything, or we weren't asked to buy things, which is kind of nice to just get off the ship and do what you want to do. And then we went to have lunch and it was an all you could eat buffet and they had the best like chili or Philly like cheese dogs. They
Mhm.
were amazing. Oh my goodness. They were just the best and I had 3 of them. They were just so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a testament.
Yeah. Yes, they were amazing. And the pineapple, it's like the best pineapple you've ever eaten. It's just so much more fresh when it's,
Mhm.
on an island.
Yeah, I remember how amazing the pineapple was when I went to Hawaii. It was like you can't even describe it. It's so flavorful compared to what you can get in a grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, how come we don't have that here?
Did you do anything else on this day besides relax and eat?
We swam just a little bit. We tried to go to a couple of the beaches, but then we just ultimately went back to the pool. And then my daughter had a softball tournament, so I got to watch her from the pool back home. And it was funny. I was getting right before we got on the ship. and we went to go get some mocktails. And as I was ordering, my daughter was up to bat, and I was like, "Go, go, go!" And he's looking at me, and I was like, "Oh, it's just my daughter. She's playing." And he's like, "Live?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I showed him, and he's like, "That is so cool. Oh my goodness." I was like, "Oh yeah, this mom doesn't miss anything."
So it sounds to me like the Wi-Fi must be good.
Yes, definitely very good. I could hear my daughter. It was on Game Changer. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh, I do.
Um, oh yeah.
I'm a former baseball mom.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And definitely it was like great. Like didn't lag. It was awesome.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes when I, see other people on cruises, the Wi-Fi can be questionable. I
Mhm.
wonder, was it because I think it sounds to me like the ship was still docked at Coco Key at this time.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that had
Yeah.
anything to do with it, or
Mhm.
did you experience really good Wi-Fi the entire trip?
I think it was pretty good throughout the whole trip, but definitely, I mean, that makes sense since we were docked. It was like I feel maybe extra good,
Mhm.
just being there. But yeah, didn't have any problems.
Okay, what did you do with your evening on this day?
That night we had dinner, and then we kind of took it slow, and we shopped around for a little bit, and then we had kind of a late night ice skating show, and that was incredible as well. Being able to ice skate in general fascinates me, and then watching you do it while you're on a moving boat is just
Mhm.
incredible.
Wow. I think everyone has those sports that when you watch them, you're like, if I had started that early enough, I feel like I'd be good at it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's ice skating.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, I don't think I ice skated for the first time until I was in college. So, yeah. But in my mind, I would have been amazing.
Yeah.
How many skaters were in it, and were they doing all of the tricks and things that you'd expect in one of those shows?
I think about 12. There was about 6 boys and 6 girls doing it, men and women. And then there was one guy who wasn't wearing ice skates, but he
Hmm.
was on the ice. And so he got on a bar stool or a bar, like he was like the bartender in one of like the little skits. He got on the bar, and then he got on a chair and another chair, and then it ended up being 6 chairs stacked together. And then he puts his hands down like he's doing a handstand on them and just balancing like no, like it's no big deal on the ice. Like he's touching like the ceiling with his feet, and we're just like, this is incredible. Like they it was awesome. And then how fast they were skating and all their jumps and splits, and they did backflips with their skates. It was impressive, very impressive.
So he was on 6 chairs. What would have happened if he fell?
I do not wanna know.
Oh
That
my
was
gosh.
yeah, I'm just looking at him like, "Please, I do not wanna watch this guy fall, but I wanna watch him do something amazing," and I'm like, "Okay."
Uh-huh.
When we saw him do 3 chairs, I was like, "Whoa, my gosh, incredible," and
Mhm.
then he kept going, and I was like, "You're gonna need to stop because at some point, he can't do anymore."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the first time he ever did it? Like,
Oh my
is
gosh.
this gonna work? Let's give it a
Yeah.
try.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right. Was that the end of your evening?
A little bit, yeah. So we kinda just played around on the ship, kinda just exploring last minute things. We got into an elevator, and then not our elevator, but you can see other elevators from some of the elevators, and one of
Mhm.
them had a piano in them, and he was just going up and down with people, playing really loud, and we were just watching him going up and down in this elevator, and it was really fascinating.
That's fun. I
Yeah.
love little surprises like that.
Yeah.
The next morning was Monday, October 6th, and you were arriving in port at 6 a.m., so pretty early, but I think you didn't have to be off the ship until 10. So, what did you do with your morning?
So we didn't realize that we had specific times to get off, but they didn't assign that until we were on the ship. And we had to get off, and I'm sure that they wouldn't have been angry if we were later, but our time assigned was 7:30. And we were just
Oh.
kind of, yeah, we were just kind of ready to get off and, go home. And so we were like, whatever, we just woke up early, threw our hair up, and getting ready to get off the ship. Very easy, very smooth sailing, no pun intended. um just getting off the boat, you think it's gonna be crammed, you think it's gonna be, like, crazy lines, like, they are very well organized, they know what they're doing.
Mhm. Did you head straight to the airport? Because that was way earlier than you needed to be there.
Yeah, so we contemplated on before the trip started, what to do on Monday, if we could do later flights, and we just kept thinking, what would we do with our bags? So
Mhm.
we decided we would just chill at the airport, we'll check our bags, and we were good. Well, when we got there, I go up to the little kiosk and I put in my boarding pass numbers and everything, and I'm logging everything. And then it says, please come back later. You can't check in until 4 hours before your flight. And we got there about 8:45 and my flight was at 2:50.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I cannot lug my bag this whole time. So we go over to like the help desk area, and she said, oh, sometimes you can check earlier, but it only up to 4 hours. But it was 5.5 hours before boarding time. But she
Mhm.
went ahead and took mine, but she didn't take Kim's, which I felt so bad for her. Her flight wasn't until 7. So
Mhm.
she did have to take her bag, but I helped her with it, and we took breaks. We sat down for most of it, so it wasn't like she was, rolling a huge bag everywhere.
Mhm.
But we did the Disney store, SeaWorld, we did Universal, and then we ate at McDonald's because it was the first day of Monopoly back, so we decided to have that.
So you were in terminal A and B.
Just A, yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Because you can do all of that before
Mhm.
security,
Yeah,
which most of the time I'm like, terminal C is where it's at for me because I like having all the stuff to do after I get through security. But in your
yeah,
case, that benefited you to be able to do all the things before security.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
How was your flight home?
It was good. So when I got on, so I always do I select the boarding when it's 24 hours right before your flight, and
Mhm.
I do really well sometimes, but this time was not my trip, and I got like B45, I think it was, and I was just like, ugh. But when I got on the plane, there was a couple in the very first row, and there was no one else in that first seat. And I was like, is anyone here? And they're like, no, sit down, go ahead. So I lucked out and I got the first seat there, and I was the first one off because I was the
Mhm.
first, it was a great seat.
I bet you were happy to be home and seeing your family again.
Yes.
When is your next adventure going to be?
Very good question. I know for sure we're going back to Disney in August,
Mhm.
but I can't wait that long. Something else has to happen before then.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Some people,
It's
they're like,
it's a
"That's
real problem.
fine." Yeah, once a year, 2 t or once every other year, but I'm like, "Nope, my trip's in 10 months, but I need something sooner."
Yeah, I start to get a little antsy. Like,
Yeah.
when is it happening?
Yes.
So, all right. So, what is your plan? Just to watch for a really good deal, or do you have,
Yes.
some thoughts about when you might want to try to do that?
I wanna see if we can do something after Christmas, just like a little cruise.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for good rates to come out for travel agents. Nothing yet, so but if there are any, that's my goal. So
Okay.
hopefully there's a good deal.
Well, I will cross both my fingers for you.
Thank
Well,
you.
both sets of fingers, I should say. I have more than 2 fingers. Um, when you say something and you're like, "That sounded weird."
Yeah.
Well, Bailey, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I really enjoyed hearing about your trip, and you've got
Thank you
me
so much for
intrigued
having
about
me.
Royal Caribbean.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has been really fun to be on here.
Thank you again to Bailey for joining me on the podcast. And thank you to all of you for listening. If you liked what you heard, please make sure that you are subscribed to the show through the podcast app you are listening on now. And if you wouldn't mind giving me a quick review on that app now as well, it would be so appreciated and would help others to find the show. That is all for now. I will be back next week with that very special episode. In the meantime, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.